Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Noah Kravitz from TechnoBuffalo.com. And you know, this whole tablet computing revolution, when I really think about what a good use for a tablet is, this is what I think about. It's first thing in the morning, I head outside to the porch, cup of coffee, tablet, catch up on what I need to get caught up on before I get into the thick of the day, check email, read some RSS feeds, read some web pages, you know, maybe do a little video chat conversation with one of my colleagues just to kind of, you know, do our little morning check-in, talk to John, maybe talk to Sean, see what's going on today, what we need to cover. And the fun thing about a tablet is, in theory, you can do all this stuff almost anywhere. It's even more portable than a laptop, but, you know, a little bigger, a little more functionality than a smartphone. One of my favorite tablets of this year, when I first saw it at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, was the HTC Flyer. Now that I've had the Wi-Fi only version for about a week now, along with the Magic Pen, is it still my favorite? Let's find out. Alright, so here's the HTC Flyer, the tablet. It's available right now through Best Buy, the Wi-Fi only version, which is the one I have here, 16 gigs of internal storage. It's $499, no contract because it's not through a carrier, it's Wi-Fi only. And then if you want the stylus as well, the HTC Scribe active stylus pen here, this is an additional $80, it's $79.99. So if you buy the two things together, you're looking at $580 plus tax, depending on where you live. Out here in California, that's a ton. But you're looking at $600, a little bit more than $600 for the package, which, you know, is competitive with tablets, but also kind of expensive. Actually a little bit more than some of the comparable tablets, and certainly for a 7-inch tablet, you know, a little bit on the pricey side. Now, carrier versions will be coming out, all but certainly the first carrier version will be on Sprint, the HTC Evo View. No pricing or ship date has officially been set yet, but I'm hearing late June, probably June 24th, and I'm also hearing that Sprint will probably package the stylus in with the device. So I don't know what they'll sell it for, but you figure, you know, competitively, probably around $400, maybe $500 on contract with the stylus included. So after having used the device for a few weeks, you know, what I think of it is a couple of things. I think it works really, really well. I think HTC did a bang-up job on the design and the implementation. I think actually that, you know, for the basic software, the basic functionality, using Gingerbread as opposed to Honeycomb, you're not really losing anything. And I actually think you might actually be gaining something here, because the Honeycomb tablets that I've tried so far, they work well, but, you know, there's not a lot of polish on them, not a lot of customizations yet. You know, it's sort of it's the first generation of products, and you know, some of them have, you know, 3.1 isn't quite out yet and that sort of thing. And so you kind of get what you get with those, which is, you know, sort of a brand new experience with a lot of potential, but, you know, still a lot of things coming. You know, even things like resizable widgets on the home screen are coming in 3.1, but they're not available for most of the tablets out there yet. The Zoom, you can get the 3.1 update. But so there's a lot that's coming. On the other hand, the 2.x platform has been out for a while. HTC has certainly been working on it and doing a lot of customizations to it, and they've taken their game to a new level here with the new version of Sense, and you know, just really done a nice job, not just with the widgets and the 3D effects here on the carousel and that sort of thing, but also with little things like the new launch bar on the bottom, where you can, you know, have your shortcuts to your apps that you use frequently into the app launcher. Little things like on the browser, if we go back to the home screen here and go to the internet, and we'll see on the browser, when you pull down the notifications bar, you have not just, you know, your notifications, but you also have, and this isn't just in the browser, but in the notifications bar, you know, shortcuts to your most recently used apps, shortcuts to quick settings, things like that, that just kind of increase the productivity on the slightly larger display of the tablet. It's a 7-inch display, 1024 by 600, and those things work in portrait mode as well. Going back to the browser, you know, nice little thing here. If you hit the Windows button, you've got, you know, thumbnail view of your windows, and you can easily add a new window. And now you go back and you can get an overview of what's in each window, and, you know, sort of like tab browsing. You know, just little things there that really just, you know, when you're working on a platform you've been working on for a while, you can continue to refine, as opposed to having to go you know, jumping to Honeycomb and immediately sort of not starting entirely from scratch, but definitely starting from scratch in some ways, because there are things on Honeycomb like the placement of, you know, the home and back virtual buttons, you know, in different apps aren't consistent, things like that. And so I think HTC was wise to stick with what they've been doing for a while, and there is a Honeycomb version of Flyer. You know, they will be upgrading it. Now the downside is that you don't get access to all of the tablet optimized apps that are out there for Honeycomb devices. So you're looking at using apps that were built, you know, basically built for smartphones, and then the first generation of Android tablets that are really running, you know, what Google has said is not a tablet optimized platform. So, you know, there's definitely a trade-off there, but again, HTC has said that they will be upgrading the Flyer to Honeycomb at some point, so you are a little bit future-proofed in that regard. As for the device itself, whether or not you want to use a 7-inch tablet is definitely a matter of personal preference. One thing I am a little disappointed with, and having the Flyer, you know, around to use for a while, and especially in comparison to some of the other devices, it's a little bit heavy. And it's not a deal breaker, and it feels really solid. The aluminum unibody construction, I mean, it's fantastic. The device, you know, whether or not you like the gray and white is a matter of style, but the device is very well made. It looks and feels great. The use here of the aluminum back with these rubber grips on the top and bottom is really nice, because when you switch from portrait to landscape mode, you know, you can grip onto these contoured kind of plastic rubber panels there, which is kind of a nice touch. And the thing feels solid, and it's tough. I was talking to James Kendrick, who I do the Good to Go show with. We were talking about the device and how he dropped, I believe it was him who said, somebody I was talking to, another reviewer said they dropped theirs. No problems at all with it. It's definitely built well. You know, it's a step up from the plastic tablets that we're seeing from other companies, but the trade-off is that it's heavier, and it's noticeably heavier. It's heavier, you know, I picked this up, and then I pick up the Barnes & Noble Nook Color, which is a similarly sized device, and I notice how much lighter the Nook Color is. Or I pick this up, and then I pick up the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, which is a 10-inch screen device, and I feel like the Galaxy Tab is lighter as well. So, you know, I definitely, that's something that the more I've used this, I've been a little bit disappointed, just in that it does feel heavy. That said, you know, again, it's not a deal breaker at all, and I think you get used to it pretty quick, and it's still light enough to use for one-handed reading. It's just, you know, not the lightest 7-inch tablet or lightest tablet out there for sure. Performance has been great. The 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon processor, you know, forget talk about dual core, single core, whatever. It's been plenty fine. 1080p video stuttered just a little tiny bit, you know, but web browsing, page rendering, all that kind of stuff works really well. You know, the accelerometer kicks in. You know, no real problems in terms of performance on the device. The cameras, it's got front and back cameras. The camera's a little bit of a disappointment, but most tablets are like that these days for sure. Getting into some of the, you know, so overall, not to gloss over the stuff, but overall, the performance of the device has been great, and you know, pushing it, it's a slightly smaller screen. 1024 by 600 means less pixels to push, which means you know, it's a little bit easier on the processor. We're looking at the HTC Watch service now, and I'll preview a trailer here. This is over Wi-Fi right now. HTC Watch is another online media store. The performance isn't pretty good. You know, you can rent movies competitively priced, you know, $3, $4, or $5 for a rental. You can play them on the screen. The playback looks good. It's not HD. It's 600 pixels tall. But then you can also output the movies via DLNA to a DLNA equipped device, so you know, wirelessly streaming over Wi-Fi and watching them on a big screen, that kind of thing. It's a nice system, but frankly, you know, how many? We're starting to get into this fragmentation with the media stores. Smart investment on HTC's part to you know, to invest in a company, and now you know, you can buy and rent movies directly from HTC, and they get the revenue. But, you know, as of right now, it's pretty limited in terms of, you know, how much stuff is in there. And do we really need another media store? And, you know, would we rather instead see something like a connection to HTC's, to Amazon's media store? Because you've got the Amazon MP3 player in here, and you can upgrade to use the Amazon Locker, the cloud player. So, you know, wouldn't it be kind of better to hook into that player for video content from Amazon, who's already got a huge library? But that might be coming. Anyway, you've got your connected media, which I was alluding to, which is where you can shoot your music, videos, and photos out to a nearby connected player over over DLNA. So there I've got some camera shots. There was the one I took of James and I were talking about the tablet, the flyer on our last Good to Go show. So I'm searching, and I don't think I have anything connected right now. So it's not going to, yeah, the HTC flyer is the only thing I've got right now. So it'll just play it on the device. But if you have a DLNA device, you can use that. Otherwise, we've got Snap Booth, which is a little kind of Apple photo booth type app for, I don't mean to compare it to Apple, but you know, they have it out there. So whatever. It's a little front-facing camera app, just kind of fun. You know, some other little stuff like that. You've got the e-reader, and this will get into talking about the pen, which is what I want to talk about. So you've got your e-reader in here.